Nation, what's up, guys? We are back once again with another doomed review, a dark, vengeful review of Scagz. What are we reviewing today?
The Batman, the newest of the 900,000 million, bajillion, quadrillion Batman movies that have come out just in our short lifetime.
Yeah, yes.
Yeah. Starring Robert Pattinson. And
Yes.
we all also, it's me, Shayne, the captain, and we are going to talk about it.
Yes. So, what do you guys think, man? I thought it was a pretty good movie. I got to say,
I really liked it.
Overall, I enjoyed it. What about you, Scagz?
I saw it after you guys and after most people saw it. I saw it yesterday, and people hyped me up. Right, a lot of people hyped me up saying it was better than The Dark Knight, was the best Batman movie ever. It was really, really good. It wasn't. I'm not saying that it wasn't a good movie, but I guess I was way too overhyped by people on how good it really was. I didn't think
That's
it was
fair.
the best Batman movie ever, nor do I think it was a really good movie. On my
Oh,
opinion.
really?
We'll get into it. Yeah.
I can say that's a fair assessment because I went in not really caring if I saw it. So I think that also helped me to actually enjoy it more. And I'm not the biggest Batman person. So I've always just geared more towards like Marvel than I did DC. I've only seen like a handful of the DC movies.
I am a huge Batman guy. I was always like a DC Batman fan before I was a Marvel fan. Marvel has won me over though, with know how well they've done all the movies,
easily,
and shows and things. So I mean, yeah, this Batman movie is it's interesting. You know, it's I guess it's Cap. It's year 2 Batman technically, right?
Yes,
around there. So he's been Batman for only 2 years officially. So he's pretty young, and I did think there was a lot of good things in it, and some of the stuff they did was cool. You know, they accurately portrayed like the lessons and of Batman learning how to be Batman and getting his ass kicked a couple times and not exactly being 100% professional Batman yet. I thought that was pretty well done and pretty well, shown. What do you think? Let's go. Let's pick your brain over there.
It was definitely a more raw Batman. One of my favorite Batman cartoons that you refuse to watch on HBO Max is called Year One, where it's Batman's first year as being Batman, and it's a good portrayal. The Batman movie is a good portrayal of Bruce is still angrier. Bruce is still violent. Bruce is still out there just for blood. And you definitely saw that. He was pretty violent. I didn't really favor the route they took with the Riddler. You know, I still am, the green suit with the question marks, still, my type of, the Jim Carrey Riddler.
Yeah, it's hard to replace. This is the first, I think, attempt they made on screen, right, to replace Jim Carrey's Riddler since then.
Yeah,
they've done a lot of
Gotham.
Right.
I'm not.
If you want to consider that.
But the guy who plays the Riddler in Gotham is fantastic. It's probably one of my favorite characters on that show. But I think this is a very I think it could only go up from here. I won't say it's the best Batman movie ever. I said it was a good one. I was excited for this. Right away with every cast, anybody who gets cast as Batman, they shit on him right away. I thought Robert Pattinson was a good pick. I think he's a little too small to be Batman, but I think he portrayed a good Batman, and he portrayed the emo version of Bruce Wayne very well.
Exactly how I described it. I was like, this is straight up emo Batman. And I think it's also goes into the age that they had him at. I feel like most of the time when we see Batman, he's already like in his 40s, but this one literally says like it's 20 years after his parents died. So he has to be like 28, 30 maybe.
Yeah.
So he's still got that like child, like teen angst going through him.
Yeah, I think Robert Pattinson did a great fucking job as Batman. And I predicted that. I said, this guy, people give him a lot of shit just because he was Twilight, the Shining Vampire. But then when you think about it, I mean, Batman and a vampire, kind of similar.
Not too far apart.
Right, not too far apart. And the fact, and I seen him in a couple of other things recently. One was called The King, I think it was, like a medieval film where he was like a French prince, and boy, he did a great job in that one. So like, I know the guy can act. He really can.
He was also in The Devil All the Time, and that was a really really great acting portrayal that he did. He was playing like one of those like crazy, like middle of nowhere type pastors that are like basically cult leaders.
Oh boy.
And he did like a really, really good job in that.
You would watch something.
Yeah.
Like that.
Listen, that movie had so many people in it.
So I did think he did a good job. One of the I liked the you me and you laughed about this. You're like, dude, it never stops fucking raining.
Dude,
Gotham City.
Gotham City.
Yeah.
The worst character in the movie was Gotham City.
Oh yeah.
Drove me up a wall. No sunshine.
Yeah.
Always raining. Like, oh my God.
It's I did think they did a good job of portraying Gotham City. It reminded me a lot of the Arkham games, especially the final one, Arkham Knight, where you kind of had like free roam of the entire city, and you could like go to the bottom levels, and then you could go all the way up to the top of the buildings. It reminded me like they took some inspiration definitely from that. Even the opening fight scene was very similar to a fight that would have occurred in Arkham City, where he fights like those Joker kind of face painted guys. That's an Arkham City, Arkham Knight style video game fight.
So, question I have from somebody who doesn't know too much Batman. Obviously, Gotham is based off of New York City.
Yeah.
Is it ever this extensive that it basically is New York City, but they just changed it to Gotham?
That's because I think, as
you
the
literally
city's
had the
gotten
Empire
shittier,
State Building, you had Madison Square Garden,
yeah,
Gotham Square Garden. Like, is it supposed to be like an exact replica of New York?
So Gotham, just from my practical point of view, Gotham is a mixture of Chicago and New York City.
Okay.
And it always has been represented as such, especially in the movies. It has been. Cap, you might want to add to that.
What I was saying was, it just so happens that the real world, New York City, has gotten so crazy and crime ridden that it caught up to the comic book fantasy land that is Gotham City. So, but I always figured Gotham was the DC's world of New York City,
So one of my criticisms,
because I think Smallville's just a town in Kansas, and I don't know what they have for that. Titan Towers would be out in California. I'm going through fake world DC geography over here.
I'm not that familiar with the geography of the DC city. So one of my criticisms was the Riddler's backstory and his motivation and his story. I don't get it. I guess I kind of talked to somebody today, and they mentioned how it really all had to do with the renewal program that Thomas Wayne had founded, but I didn't feel any like, who is the Riddler again? Like, why did he really care so much to just blow up the whole fucking city and kill all these people?
Right.
He was in the background of one black and white photo. I mean, was he? Was that even him in the background? I don't know. Maybe you guys could better explain to me. I didn't really get that much of an understanding of why the Riddler did all this. So he was the main villain.
This is going to be like an outsider's perspective. So this is my first real experience with the Riddler. Like, I think I watched like the Tim Burton one when I was like a literal child. From what I could tell is he knew Batman was Bruce.
No, he didn't.
But he did, though.
He did. He literally was saying it.
And how did he know that Batman was Bruce? I don't understand.
There's a very particular line between the Riddler and Batman at Arkham Asylum where he keeps going, Bruce Wayne, Bruce Wayne, Bruce Wayne. And then he says, the only one we didn't get was Bruce Wayne, signifying he doesn't know the Batman is Bruce Wayne.
See, I took it as he knew it.
Yeah, I took it as he knew it too.
Because
he didn't know you're saying.
But I think at that point, I was starting to fall asleep. It's such a long movie.
Yeah, it was a very long movie. Yeah, because he never comes out and says, you're Bruce Wayne. And on top of it, Alfred is the one who, dealt with the explosion that was for Bruce Wayne. But there was still a letter. There was still a letter for the Batman. So why would the Batman open up a letter, a fire retardant letter, and then open up the bomb? I don't think he knew Bruce Wayne. He went after Bruce Wayne because that's the only Wayne left, and he blames Thomas Wayne for the renewal program.
Okay.
Yeah. You
see, like I said, I think at that point I was starting to check out.
But you see, like the way you just explained it made sense. I didn't feel the movie made a good.
I didn't get it from the movie.
Right. The movie didn't do a good job of kind of explaining his motivations or that clearly. I was confused at the where they had the confrontation in Arkham Asylum or wherever, where they were like through the glass. I was just like, what the fuck is going on here? What are we even talking about? What's happening? It was very bizarre. I mean, I guess the Riddler is a bizarre person, but I just felt like the story that's the main villain of the story, and his motivation and like the interaction with him when you finally got to sit down and talk to him was like, what?
Yeah. For him being the main villain, I don't want to say it, but like it was a little, his origin of it was pretty choppy. I don't even necessarily know how he was connected and stuff, but the mafia members of Gotham, the Maroni crime family, the Falcone crime family, those were portrayed very well. Those were always crime families that ran Gotham. I like how they squeezed the Penguin into being kind of like a right-hand man to the mafia, which is pretty good. Because the Penguin obviously eventually takes over. Two-Face eventually takes over and takes over the mob, stuff like that. So there's some good aspects. I think they missed out on the DA who got killed. That should have been Harvey Dent.
I think the biggest thing for me when it comes to the Penguin is the fact that was Colin Farrell.
Yeah.
So
and
I was
good, right? Not tell.
Yeah, you really couldn't. And I have
to that makeup job was phenomenal.
It was. I was just gonna say why I was letting you finish your point, but I have to hand it to Colin Farrell. He did a great job at morphing into a really different version of the Penguin. It was not like so much a comic book, like actual looking like a bird sort of penguin. He was a disfigured, almost Italian mobster / comedian. It was an interesting take on the Penguin. It didn't look like Colin Farrell, like you're saying.
No, like so it did not at all.
Yeah,
because any Penguin that I've seen, in like the cartoon one, and then you got the Danny DeVito, and then you got the one in Gotham. They all have very different looks to him. Yeah. But I feel like this one kind of combined them well.
Definitely. My favorite scene in the entire movie was the car chase scene with the Penguin.
Yeah.
I thought that was well done. Well, a lot of practical effects. The new Batmobile,
the baby version of the Batmobile.
Dope. It's dope. It's dope in my opinion. It's like a muscle car. Kind of reminds me of the Batmobile from the cartoons that I watched when I was a kid. It's almost like half
before
of
it had all the armor and stuff on it.
Right. So I thought that was pretty cool. I just wish that they didn't spoil it with the trailer, right? Because I knew he was gonna flip over to Penguin's car and win, and then walk out in that badass way with the fire in the background. I knew that was coming.
Down.
Yeah, right. I knew it was coming.
Everything nowadays.
I knew it was coming, but I have to say that scene from the trailer is what got me excited for this movie.
Yeah,
like I didn't know what to expect, and when I saw that, I was like, okay, balls to the wall, let's go. I think they portrayed a lot of people very well. They did a great Jim Gordon. I would like to see more of Alfred, always one of my favorite characters. I think Zoe Kravitz, right? That's how you say her name?
Zoe Kravitz.
Yeah. I think fantastic smoke show of a Catwoman. Oh my God. She played a great Catwoman, and even her suit was very well done for like a beginner version of Catwoman as well.
So that was one of my, sorry, just to jump off what you're saying. That was one of my biggest things when it came to the Catwoman is I always feel like she's meant to be really sexy. And Zoe Kravitz is. I enjoyed that. This is like a beginner. So she just has like a Halloween store costume plus like a ski mask.
Yep.
Versus my issue with like the Dark Knight Anne Hathaway one. I don't find Anne Hathaway sexy at all.
She wasn't hot enough to be Catwoman.
Exactly. And that's my thing. And then she's more like high tech up there. But again, I think that goes into this is like the beginning of them. So it's kind of like this takes place like right after Gotham because the Catwoman in Gotham is literally like 10. So I kind of like that. And Zoe Kravitz is hot as hell.
Yeah, I feel like this definitely this movie could have almost been a spiritual successor to the Gotham TV show. I think that was on Fox, right? In a way.
In a way.
A little bit.
I didn't finish the whole thing. I watched some of it, but
I don't want to spoil any.
Not directly.
Right.
Multiverse.
Funny you say that because that's where I was drawing a lot of my comparisons from, because that's what I've been watching the most lately with the Gotham TV series on Netflix right now. and I was trying to like in my mind put together like this is the progression of it, but like it's a completely different Riddler, completely different Penguin. But I think some of these people did a great job. The Jim Gordon, that was awesome that he wasn't a police commissioner yet.
Yeah,
That he like he's still rising through the ranks as well with Batman. The only thing, like my one little issue I had with Jim Gordon was it's year 2 and he isn't the commissioner. I think he's a lieutenant.
Or he's
doesn't have
he's
that
Detective Gordon.
Right. I don't know if he was detective or lieutenant or whatever. He doesn't have that much pull. He's just bringing Batman into crime scenes, stopping other cops from arresting him, letting them break out of the prison. You're gonna lose your job, pal. Like if you were the commissioner, I understand it. And there's this blind trust that he has for Batman. What did you do in the past 2 years to get this man to trust you the way he does? And that's like an unanswered question.
Well, I thought that they referenced that they worked together to bring down the Maroni crime family.
No, I think Jim Gordon was a police officer that helped bring down the Maroni crime family. I don't think Batman had anything to do with the biggest drug bust in Gotham history. Maybe. I think that might have even predated the 2 years.
Unclear plot point. That was a major kind of plot point behind the movie, but kind of unclear. A couple other criticisms I had: the boots. You guys got to do better. They focused on him walking up to things a lot at his boots. The boots look like boots I could have bought at Payless.
Yeah. Well, hey, year 2 Batman. Yeah.
I don't
care.
This
man is a billionaire.
He's a billionaire and he has a fucking a machine gun fucking muscle car, but he has like Payless 99-cent boots. Dude, it's obviously it's not Batman's fault. It's the people who made the movie's fault. What's his name? Reeves,
costume
right?
design.
But again, he's being like a rebel.
Yeah. Although I had
me and
Jerry had a pretty good laugh when
the fact that he's rich.
Go ahead, Cap. Go ahead. We got a little delay. Sorry.
Right. It's okay. Jerry and I had a pretty good laugh because so at the beginning it was an awesome introduction. That the bat signal isn't just a calling, it's a warning, and that signal goes up and all the criminals start looking in the darkest corner, and then you hear the boots, and I just looked at Jerry and I went, the Jew Bear from Inglourious Bastards when he's walking down the hallway hitting the wall with the bat.
It kind of did remind me of that. I did like that idea of the bat signal is like deterrent almost to crime. One of the main,
but it's always been that.
One of the main themes of the movie obviously is that Gotham is an awful place, and it's been awful for a long time. And I guess a lot of the people in Gotham felt like they were nobodies, and they've been trampled and spit on and chewed up by the city. And I guess you could say the Riddler was kind of like an embodiment of people who felt like they were nobody. There was definitely like the YouTube extremist thing to it. And that plays into the end where the Riddler's captured, but it's like the angry people who become like the terrorists to attack the city or like the establishment of the city. And I gotta be honest with you, like kind of was on their side. It's a shitty place. I'm not saying they should have just shot people like just at random will, but I'm like, am I supposed to like not am I supposed to like feel bad for like all these evil people in Gotham City? And like, am I not supposed to feel bad for these people who have been maligned and have been chewed up and spit out by Gotham, the worst place in the world? I'm supposed to now like, I'm not saying what they did is right. I had empathy for him, so I just felt like me watching Batman beat the shit out of those guys. It's like, oh man, like I don't know. It's didn't. It's
the Joker. Yeah, it's the Joker meme, and it ties into our regular podcast, talking about dirty politics and corruption and stuff. Being a child is idolizing Batman. Growing up is realizing the Joker's right. Bane was right. So, and then you play into today's time and our leaders aren't doing anything to lessen it. They're only making things worse at this point. don't be so surprised if some guy doesn't don a black cape and start kicking the crap out of criminals. Don't be surprised if a group of hoodlums, paint their faces like clowns and start robbing and terrorizing the city. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's a very plausible thing.
Yeah, kind of like Kick-Ass. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I just felt like there was some plot holes. One of the other major plot holes was when Falcone told Bruce about exactly what happened with his parents, and then like in the very next scene, Bruce goes and sits down with Alfred, and Alfred's like, "Oh no, that's not what happened," and I knew the whole time, and I just didn't tell you. And Bruce is like, oh, "Okay," and then they just move on to the next scene after that. I'm just like, boy, I mean, like we just had a big reveal, and then a flip flop of what happened, and like, okay, here we go, just keep on moving.
It's just gonna remain one of those unsolved mysteries. Who do you believe? Was Falcone right? Was Alfred right? Was Alfred really hiding it?
I
it's
also
always
thought,
a pain.
I also thought like when the flooding happened in Gotham Square Garden, and Batman was like fighting people, but then he decided to stop and save people. I thought it was pretty cool, but also kind of corny at the same time. I thought it was interesting to see Batman actually go out of his way to save random people, but like the first person he goes to save is the mayor. He just gets interrupted by the kid, and then it's just like a corny scene of him like with a flare, like leading them out of the water.
He's now the light of the city.
I get it.
It was a symbol of it. Yeah,
no, it's just corny.
I can't believe you're not bringing up.
I
can't believe you're not bringing up. Out of nowhere, he takes a shotgun shell to the chest, and then injects himself with Bane juice and can start fighting all over again, and then take a 15-20 foot fall when he cuts that electrical wire and just gets right back up. Yeah, I do got to say that's, it was a nice thing because Christian Bale's Batman was a human inside, me or you inside a suit of armor, and playing against someone like Superman or something, Clark Kent, you really can't stand up. So it kind of gives you that Punisher, Frank Castle, you could take this amazing beating and still be resilient enough to keep on going. So there is that comic book superhero aspect to this Batman that I do like. But that green goo out of nowhere was just a mystery.
I thought it was like adrenaline or something.
It was just out of place. I don't know. I didn't like the whole end fight there. It just didn't work good. I don't know how else to put it. Just didn't make sense.
I liked it. It wasn't the best, but I liked it.
I wasn't sure whose side to be on.
To me, to me, that end.
I think that was the biggest thing for you.
Yeah. For me, the ending, was more of like Batman coming into his own to being the hero of Gotham, being the light. Like they talk about in the Christopher Nolan Batmans and the Christian Bale, but you're the light of the city and stuff. And I'm kind of seeing like this might be the start of that. So like we'll build up, and then like at the second movie, he'll be, super famous. Everybody loves Batman. Then the third movie, everyone hates Batman. You know what I mean? Like he'll eventually have to pull the trigger on something to save the city that's going to make him look bad and make everyone hate him, blah blah blah.
I did like that scene on the roof afterwards. I thought that was well done, and you kind of got to hear his like inner monologue about what he was thinking about how he realized like I shouldn't be vengeance, I need to be a symbol of hope. I've thought that kind of like wrapped up the moral of his character arc in the story well, so I appreciated that. I thought that was decent.
And the end scene with Catwoman right in the motorcycles, very good. Very good. They went their separate ways. She'll come back.
Yeah, I wasn't too much of a fan of that one. I was just kind of like, what's going on? And that's it. The movie's over. I was wondering if they were trying her suit. Yeah, I was wondering if they were trying to throw in like nods or maybe things to try and tie this movie into the DCEU. Like, for example, he stressed symbols of hope a lot, and then if you go back and watch Batman vs Superman or Justice League, and that was kind of like one of Ben Affleck's Batman's big things of like Kal-El is like the symbol of hope that I can't really be. So I thought maybe they were trying to like tease us in that direction of like this is maybe Batfleck when he was younger, and we're kind of seeing. I wasn't sure if they were trying to go in that direction of tying this in or not. And then at the end, so spoiler warning, at the end, I felt like they basically confirmed it's not part of the DCEU movie with the jail scene and whatnot.
Right.
I don't know. What do you guys think about that, tying it into the larger DCEU?
Really hard for me to give that opinion because I haven't actually seen any of the Ben Affleck ones besides the original Suicide Squad, and he was in it for all of 30 seconds.
Okay, yeah,
fair.
But I did see like the Christian Bale ones.
Yeah, I have no comment to tie it into the DCU universe, whatever, for the sole purpose of I've always been a fan of the Flashpoint cartoon, and I don't know obviously where the movie's going to take it. Flashpoint is going to F everything up. It's going to be used to correct all the wrongs.
Hope so.
And the Flash might come back to a new modern city where Robert Pattinson's the Batman.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So I'm not going to say this movie's trying to be tied into that universe, but with the Flashpoint coming next year, whatever it is, anything's possible.
I think it's this year.
Yeah, it is.
Maybe.
It is.
I don't remember.
I was just wondering if yeah, we thought it would be that way. So yeah, I think the Flashpoint gives them a great creative reason that actually makes sense to right the wrongs of what they've done for. I mean, it's DC though. Are they going to pull it off? I don't know. They're just not good at doing this shit for some reason.
They can't get their shit together.
Yeah.
It's giving me multiverse, but DC version.
Yeah. That's essentially what the Flash. Yeah, we'll get into. We'll get into that. We'll definitely review that one. All right. What do you guys want to review the movie overall? We can talk a little bit more after about the ending and whatnot. But what do you guys think? What do you want to rate it? 1 to 10, as usual.
1 to 10. I'll give it like a 6.
Go ahead, Shane.
I'll give it a 6. It was a good movie. I enjoyed it. Again, I almost fell asleep towards the end, but for what I know of Batman, it was pretty good.
Okay. Yeah.
I'm giving it a 7. I liked the suit. I liked Robert Pattinson. I liked some of the characters. Just the rain and the darkness and no light drove me crazy. The emo-ness of it drove me nuts.
I enjoyed it.
Also, like, I was reading that like this was supposed to be like a horror movie, like a Batman horror movie, and there was nothing like other than that opening scene where the mayor's on the phone and he walks away and the Riddler's standing right there. That was like the only jarring scene. I mean, it was a weird, creepy mask and stuff, and also his name wasn't Edward Nygma, and that's kind of unforgivable for me. Yeah. So you know, there's no way you're getting a perfect 10. So I'm giving it a 7.
Yeah, the only other, I guess you could say, like there was a couple of scenes where like people popped out or Batman himself popped out of like a dark area, and it was like that like scary noise. But I'm like, that don't work. It's Batman.
Yeah,
you know, he's not scary. Would have worked for the Riddler. I'm gonna give it a 5.3. It was just good. It didn't live up to the hype that I thought it was gonna. That people hyped it up to me to be. The Dark Knight is still undefeated. Still the best Batman movie in my opinion that's ever come out. I enjoyed the detective aspect of it, and it felt like at times I was reading a comic book, so I like that. You know, like the interaction between Gordon and Batman was cool. It reminded me a little bit of Arkham City, but there was just a lot of plot holes. I didn't like the boots, and I don't know, something. I can't put my finger on it 100%. Something was missing. It really just was, and I don't know how to explain it.
Yeah, I think it should get a sequel. I think it will get a sequel.
Everything gets a sequel, dude.
Yeah. Wash, rinse, repeat. I think the aspect that you can't put your finger on and stuff it's a very newish. I'm not saying it's a brand new concept, but the younger Batman aspect, the sloppier Batman aspect, like the unfinished Batmobile, like the boots that you don't like and stuff, you know. It's, don't get me wrong, some of the plot holes are pretty unforgivable and stuff, but like I think it's the raw, brand new to the Batman of him being so young is kind of what you can't put your finger on. When you looked at the Dark Knight with Christopher Nolan, you saw Bruce Wayne train, come back, and then be the Batman, and then he had all this Wayne tech, and it only went up and up from there. This is like a Batman who threw some shit together to, you know what I'm saying? Like this isn't far off from when Batman was wearing a ski mask to fight crime and shit.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. So where do we think it goes from here? And what do we think about the basically the scene at the end in the jail cell Who the fuck was that in the other jail cell with the Riddler? Is it the Joker? Is it Harvey Dent?
I'm assuming Joker.
Yeah. It's the Joker, which kind of signifies that like the Joker might have been Batman's original villain, original arch enemy or something. I really don't. I think it's time to give the Joker a rest. Heath Ledger was amazing. Jared Leto's they should, we the people should have fought to change Jared Leto the way we fought to change Sonic the Hedgehog, because it didn't work. And to this day, Jared Leto's Joker still doesn't work. He's creepy, he's Joker-esque, but give us the purple suit and the green hair. You know what I mean? Like, we're not playing around. Like, yeah, Joker, yeah. So I would really like to see like Two-Face, Mr. Freeze, Clayface, Killer Croc. There's so many dozens of good Batman villains that like we could like dive into. Don't give us the Joker right away.
Give us 2 Suicide Squad movies that they could have picked from.
Yeah.
So the more we talk about this too, I think another reason why I was kind of disappointed is because I felt like throughout, as I'm watching the entire movie, I'm waiting for like something to happen or some big reveal, and then we get to the end, and it's like, there it is. It's like, there's the shadows. It's another Joker. Like, that was my reaction. Like, we just, like you said, we had Ledger, amazing. We had Joaquin Phoenix, amazing. We had Leto, terrible. We had the guy in the Gotham show. A 5th Joker now, like a 6th Joker, whatever it is. Like, I maybe would have been a little bit more on board had it been Joaquin Phoenix's Joker in that cell.
I think,
or maybe even Jared Leto, and now they're giving Jared Leto the chance to do it the right way this time, and that's how they tie it into something. So I felt like a bit let down because they chose another Joker, and we're now going into like, we have 6 Jokers in the past 6 years.
Yeah,
Yeah. And if you want to know it from what I've researched, obviously it didn't specify Joker, but it's the kid that played Druig in the Eternals.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I know what you're talking about. Okay, all right.
He could definitely play a good Joker. It's too saturated right now. Give me Mr. Freeze, man, please.
Yeah, I agree.
That's a good, solid character that Batman's faced 1,000,001 times. I think, to my 2 last points, I think it was a very big missed opportunity for the DA that the Riddlers killed with that collar. That should have been Harvey Dent. This should have been the end of Harvey Dent's career. He's kind of getting dirty. He's kind of getting corrupt. That two-faced side of him is coming out, and only half the bomb blew up. It was a mistake. It was a false bomb or whatever, and that screws up half his face. And then boom, next time around you got Two-Face.
Didn't see them roll him out.
What happened?
I said we didn't actually see them roll him out, did we?
True. No, but he wasn't Harvey Dent.
Yeah, but it's not Harvey Dent.
He had an actual.
They didn't give me Enigma, and if you're going to take Harvey Dent away, you're only going to keep going down on the points board.
I'm going with the theory if you don't actually see them die.
No, very true. Very true.
I would like to see them go in a different direction though in the future. Like, even, man, like the Arkham Knight story in the video game was fantastic. Or Deathstroke. Like, you could have chosen something different that we haven't explored 10 times already. But it seems like they're just intent on just doing the same thing over and over.
So I think you're going to like what I'm going to say next. This is like one of, I don't know personally. I don't remember, I don't have enough storage space up there. If Martha Wayne was Martha Arkham, where they made, the Arkham family, marry the Wayne family in the movie.
I didn't even know the Arkhams were a family.
Right. I never knew.
I found that out in this movie.
So did I. Yeah.
Right. Pretty much me too. But I don't remember what Martha Wayne's maiden name is. So it might have always been Arkham, and I don't remember. I think if there is a second one, it would be good to explore Arkham more and give us like an Arkham Knight type of movie, because you got the family connection, you got 2 heavy hitters in there. Who else is in there? Who's he going to put in there? You know what I'm saying? Like, the whole city's corrupt. The whole city's gone to shit. Why not let the asylum go to shit too?
Especially if he's finding out that his family is as corrupt as he wasn't aware of. Like, go deeper into that maybe.
Well, Robert Pattinson said he wants to explore the the Court of Owls, which I think is a
Yes,
fantastic
right.
idea.
What's that?
There's so much political division in the world. Here's these, billionaire elites running Gotham, running, Arkham, running politics. And so I think that would be fantastic.
That is one of the few comic book story arcs that I actually did read, the Court of Owls there, and they gave Batman a run for his money.
Yeah.
They really put him through a lot of shit. I do think that would be a good, interesting storyline to explain. Hard to just explain in one review. We'll maybe talk about it in the future, but yeah, they got to go somewhere different with Batman, man. Stop just reprinting the Joker and throwing him out there. I mean,
they reprint the Joker for the sole purpose of money, toys, costumes at Halloween. That's all it is, and I think it's going to be a failure unless they somehow magically, give us a better performance than Heath Ledger, and they shouldn't even be trying. You know what I'm saying? Like, do something else.
I feel like they could have just like left it at that. Like he's already in jail. Like he's already in the asylum. We don't have to worry about him. We just wanted to give you that little like, here he is, but not make him a main focus for the next.
Yeah, listen, if at the end of the second movie, the Joker breaks out of Arkham because of all the craziness, I'm fine with that. If the second movie is about taking Arkham back from the Joker, I'm not cool with it.
Yeah, like just make him like a side character. Don't make him the main.
Yeah. Build him up more. Build him up way more.
We'll see. I think there is going to be definitely a part 2, and we'll see. Maybe the Flash. We'll keep an eye on that. Maybe the Flash will affect this or change this in some way.
What's his name? Michael Keaton. From the Tim Burton Batman
is supposedly
is the same is in the Flash movie. He goes back to whatever universe, to the Tim Burton universe, and Batman's now an older man. And we might see, if they play that smart, they'll give us the kid who plays Batman Beyond, because Bruce Wayne will be an old man, just like Michael Keaton is now, and it's the future of that universe. There was no Dick Grayson. There was no Damian Wayne. So maybe we get, I forget the kid's name that plays, that is Batman Beyond.
Yeah, that was one of my favorite cartoons as a kid. So we'll see. Yeah. All right. Sign us off, Cap.
All right, Doom Nation. I hope you guys enjoyed our doomed review of The Batman. I hope you guys enjoyed The Batman. Sorry if we spoiled anything, but you know what you're getting into when you do this. And as always, make sure you like, share, and subscribe. Thank you, guys.
Bye.